Welcome back to the Spectre Creative Channel. I'm your host, Scott Toy Guru Nightlick, and today I'm making a video about Batman because there's clearly a serious lack of videos about Batman. Okay, well, as far as why should I be able to make a Batman video?
Do you have a bit of experience in that arena?
If you consider failure experience.
I have spent many years professionally making Batman toys, and not just Batman toys, but the entire DC universe. Yet, all of the lines that I've worked on that have been DC Universe have been very Bat-centric. There's been more Batman than anything else. I mean, obviously, Green Arrow has his fans, and so does Commandy, well, me. But Batman tends to be the one who dominates almost every DC toy line. I've been fortunate to work on at many companies. I've worked on really big Batman toys that have included light-up chest logos, and I've worked on tiny little Batman toys that were sold for 99 cents. So when it comes to a DC toy license, meaning you have the right to make DC toys from a company like Warner Brothers, which owns Batman, owns DC, toy companies, manufacturers, and the kids, parents, collectors will often look at, well, why Batman? I mean, what is it about Batman that makes him such a good license to get? And a lot of time and a lot of money have been spent analyzing Batman and all of the things that make him appeal to kids, to collectors, in order to transform him into consumer product. And the fact that he bubbles up to the top, even within the total DC universe, the qualities, if you will, that make Batman Batman, and we'll go over them briefly in this video. But here's the claim I want to make that's different from other YouTube videos. Batman is better than the entire Marvel universe. And by that I mean from a licensing standpoint. If I had the opportunity, let's say hypothetically, to make Batman toys or to make toys for the entire Marvel universe, guess what? I'd choose Batman. Why is it? Why is that? I mean, the Marvel Universe, you get, Captain America and Spider-Man and Hank Pym and the 100 different characters that he's been over the years. I mean, obviously there are a lot of superheroes out there, and it's not just Marvel and DC, but hey, facts are facts. It's a little hard to sell Savage Dragon action figures at retail. So we're really dealing with DC and Marvel. And when you look at the DC toy license, especially today, you will note something very interesting. That a DC toy license, a master license for all of the characters in the DC universe, well, it tends to actually just be a Batman license. I mean, SpinMaster can make more than just Batman. They don't, they have the rights to the DC universe, just like when I was working at Mattel. And obviously, SpinMaster has made non-Batman toys. There's Flash and Shazam, Cyborg, Superman shows up, etc., etc. And the fact that they don't go super deep beyond characters like Flash at retail is really just a testament to the market and the fact that kids are the main purchaser, especially, in today's day and age where action figures cost a little bit more than they did 10, 15 years ago when Mattel was making more obscure DC characters. But even with access to Flash and Wonder Woman and Superman, things like the SpinMaster license is a great example. It's like 90% Batman or Batman-related characters. The larger SKUs, the ones that are done as giftable battle in a box, if you will. It's not, Adam Strange versus a Thanagarian warrior, which would be cool, right? Jetpack guy versus, Hawkeye. No, it's Batman versus Shark. The playsets tend to be Batman and his Bat Cave, as opposed to, a Fortress of Solitude for Superman or, any number of things. And it's not just SpinMaster, but if you look at McFarlane Toys, which also has a master license to the DC universe, meaning all of the characters, yet it's very, very Bat-centric. Not just, obviously, Batman. I mean, they do Superman and Flash and Green Lantern and Wonder Woman, and other characters have shown up in McFarlane's line. But it's overwhelmingly batty, if you will, as, the Music Meister might say. So why is it that if you have access to the entire DC universe and can make really cool characters like Gorilla Grodd, you're still, as a toy company, focusing so much on one particular character? comparing this to, say, when Mattel did the DC Universe Classics line 15 years ago, which I worked on, we did a lot of really obscure characters, and there were definitely waves that did not include any Batman characters at all. Like I said, I was excited to bring Commandy to the action figure aisle. I think the first and still only Commandy figure that has ever been done. Hey, if you're not reading Commandy, go check it out. It's one of Jack Kirby's best works. But obviously, Batman was heavy, especially in early waves. There were, the original, the first, 5 waves tended to always feature a Batman type character, whether it was Robin or Nightwing, Batman himself. But as the waves went deeper and deeper, there were fewer and fewer Batman characters. A wave could survive without Batman being in it. So what was so different about Mattel's line versus SpinMaster or Toy McFarlane. I don't know where that came from. SpinMaster and McFarlane. All right, well, Batman, obviously, through the years has grown and changed, and there's a lot of things that are very aspirational about Batman, and that's good for kids and collectors. He represents a lot of positive things, like the fact that he's self-made, the fact that he is, he's based on his intelligence and his own strength. There are obviously qualities of Batman that are not aspirational to kids, like, oh, I don't know, the fact that he's an orphan. That's not exactly something kids dream of, is like, oh, I hope I can be an orphan like Batman. What a horrible thing to even say out loud. So yes, there are qualities of Batman that are not toyetic and do not appeal to kids. But, we could check him off. I mean, he lives in a giant lair. He's got all sorts of gadgets and, things that attach to his belt that he throws, his boomerangs or, batarangs, which, but a bat version of a boomerang. Not to mention the fact that he's got a ton of vehicles, which vehicles in themselves are very toyetic, and not every superhero can pull that off. There's a lot of superhero vehicles out there for different characters. Even Captain America drives a motorcycle, and, well, characters like Spider-Man have been known to have cars, etc. But Batman also has villains that are just as recognizable as he is, which is really rare. Could a kid really name a whole bunch of different Iron Man villains? I'm not sure. Thanos, but etc. It all comes down to the whole toyetic concept, the fact that Batman has these innate things in his DNA that help him translate best into toys. And again, you'll make that argument that, well, so do other characters. I mean, Spider-Man has a mask. Spider-Man has visual powers with webs and, shooting webs. That's an awesome role play item. And Spider-Man obviously has his own fleet of vehicles that he drives around in that, make great toys. Okay, well, they make toys at least. Well, I do have a lot of fond memories in the 80s of playing with my Spider-Man car. But Batman's the icon, or rather, like, the secondary things, the bat symbol, the belt, they're icons into themselves. You could just put one of those and people would recognize it. And most importantly, as I noted sort of a moment ago, Batman is a self-made man. He relies on science and his own strength training. I mean, yes, granted, he's had money and the advantages of that to grow his superpowers, or rather, not superpowers, but his, all to fund all of his gadgets, etc. But that's just the thing. Anyone can be Batman. You don't have to be bitten by a radioactive spider or be from the sole survivor of a alien planet come to Earth. You can't just, be Superman. You can't just be Spider-Man, but you could be Batman. Anyone could be. So maybe comparing Batman to Iron Man over at Marvel is a good comparison, right? They're both self-made men. They're both, gadget guys that create armor and create weapons from their own mind, futurists, if you will. And, well, they're both also incredibly rich. So if they had a fight, they would probably something more like this, as opposed to actually punching each other. But it's not just all about gadgets and money. What separates Batman from every other superhero is his tone. So in his purest form, Batman has always been kind of a dark character, right? Trying to, frighten the criminal element. Hence why he has the yellow logo on his chest for them to take aim at that. But if you look at the DC universe as a pantheon, right? And lining up all of the major characters, and yes, I'm sorry that Commandy is not among the major characters, but I'll get over it. Well, comparing them to something like mythological theology gods, Batman is basically Hades, if you will. If Superman was Zeus, and Aquaman was Poseidon, shall we say? Uh, Go read "If Our Gods Wear Spandex" by Chris Knowles for more about that. But the thing is, while Batman represents the sort of dark Avenger, he can also be done in a very kid-friendly, light-hearted way. And it's really hard for a lot of other superheroes to make this transition, to go from something really dark that might appeal more to adults or even to kids who enjoy aged up properties. And that's why one of the big reasons kids like Batman is because he is darker and aged up and sort of just out of reach. Batman can be a very, very dark character and can have very dark movies and content, but he can also have very light content, and he can straddle sort of both of those, shall we say, dualities. Not just the Bruce Wayne to Batman, but the tone and manner of laughter versus frightening. And it's why having a Batman license is like growing money. I mean, not just mining for Bitcoin, but you can have the entire DC comic book license, which multiple companies do right now, SpinMaster, McFarlane, etc. Mattel used to have it, even Hasbro before that. Yet, time and time again, the focus is on one character alone. You've got the access to this entire universe, and that's why my claim when I'm saying Batman versus the entire Marvel universe, meaning, one hand you have the DC license, on the other Marvel. Well, yes, Marvel right now, times are changing, and it's way more recognizable than it was in the 70s and 80s. Obviously, inflation is a big part of things too, where action figures cost a lot more. You're going to spend $20 on a 6-inch action figure, as opposed to when the DC Universe Classics line came out from Mattel, the figure started at $10 and then I think creeped up to $12, et cetera, et cetera. So why is it then, again, looking at what McFarlane and SpinMaster do, they have access to characters like Sinestro, just like Mattel did, yet so many of the SKUs in their line are Batman or Batman-related characters. And going back to everything I noted about his toyetic qualities, his darkness, and the duality of being able to make him super kid-friendly, yet super dark at the same time, yes, I mean, Marvel has, we could say, superior movies right now compared to DC, especially if you look at it from a box office standpoint, which is a measurable, quantitative way of looking at it, trying not to be judgmental. But Marvel movies, yes, it's brought more of the characters into mainstream awareness, and the DC movies tend to be very good films, but the Marvel movies make more money. They're more popcorn films. But looking at the characters that Marvel is able to put out as toys, Hasbro, if you will, in a lot of their waves when they combine movie characters with comic book characters, well, most of these characters are kind of one and done. We're never going to get another, Milwaukee, Elf Lord, or even Shriek. We're probably never going to get another figure of her ever again. They're all one and done characters outside of Spider-Man and Captain America, Iron Man. Versus on the DC side, Batman is just timeless and makes more money overall. One character versus the entire pantheon from Marvel. So, yeah, obviously with a DC license, you have a pantheon as well, and you have all those secondary characters, even if I'm calling Superman secondary, but Batman wins the day every single time. He is by far the most toyetic character, and if you were comparing licenses, DC versus Marvel, well, Batman tends to win every time because he's Batman. I hope this video is interesting and at least added to the conversation. If you have questions, comments, leave them below. I love to answer them when I can, and let me know what your thoughts are. Is Batman better than the whole Marvel Universe? Why do you think we have so many Batman toys from the current DC toy license holders? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next video.